This week, we close out another year with another retrospective.
Indeed.
Like we did last year.
Yeah. So this is going to be a thing from now on, where our New Year's episode is a retrospective.
Yes. we're 2 for 2, and that means...
It's a tradition now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We talked about a lot. It's somebody who is... everyone should know about.
Well, I mean, the thing is, not everyone does know about him, is the thing.
Well, that's what I mean.
Or they, most people, I think, have heard of his films, but maybe don't connect it to the person.
Yeah. Well, so last year we did Ed Wood.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's heard of Ed Wood, Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Right.
I mean, even in passing, right? But then you don't know Ed Wood in that whole story.
Right.
This isn't quite as wacky as Ed.
Not quite.
Very prolific filmmaker, this gentleman, and
a very talented filmmaker.
Super talented, yeah. And thought it was time.
It is.
And I kind of like the idea of doing this every last episode of the year, because, something to give you to think about as you begin the new year and start tackling your creative endeavors.
Yeah.
Some inspiration.
Definitely. And I also think that, if we're doing a podcast about indie movie filmmaking, about, B-movies and stuff, I like the music. If we're doing a podcast about that kind of thing, then we also need to cover, the people themselves, rather,
Right.
in addition to the films.
Right.
Who have, brought this world forward and made movements and strides in the world of B-movie and indie movie filmmaking.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hollywood filmmaking in general isn't something that just happened and is just here, like snow in the winter and, clouds in the sky. It took a lot of very talented people, a lot of hardworking people to keep that institution going. And even like right now, it's 10 years from now, we're going to look back and see who were the motivators who made things happen during like this whole COVID thing and in these darker times.
Yeah.
Right. Because Hollywood a couple of years ago started with Me Too and all these bad things coming to light, trying to make a change, forced to make a change.
Well, yeah.
And now
but it's for the better.
Yeah. But now some even more changes. We need to recognize these people. And, we look to films. We talk about films to inspire and give you, ooh, that looked pretty good. That's the kind of look I want to achieve in my project kind of thing. Well, we also have to talk about the people. We've had some great interviews this year.
We really have.
We get hopefully, more coming up. And 2021, same thing. We talk to these people because they are inspirations.
They are.
But then some of them aren't with us.
Right.
Spoiler.
Well,
this person's not with us.
they are inspirations. And this is filmmaking in itself, whether or not it's a studio or an indie or whatever, is essentially a business of passion and creativity and just pure drive and madness.
Yes. So, folks, let's do it. Let's get into this. So you can start your New Year's jam or New Year's Eve jam or start jamming up to New Year's Eve, however you do it.
Yeah. And maybe if you've never heard of him, you'll learn a little something.
Yeah. And give you something to watch.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we?
Let's do it. Hey there, B-Siders. Welcome to another episode of Bravo for the B-Side. This is Danny.
And this is Jim.
And it's New Year's week.
It is.
So, good fucking riddance, 2020.
Yes, goodbye.
Hello, 2021. We hope that you're better than your predecessor.
Well, it's going to start out kind of in the same shoes,
Hmm.
but we're going shoe shopping somewhere around January 21st, and hopefully after that, we'll just clear out the whole closet of old stuff, get all new kicks
Yeah.
for 2021.
And then, you know, just pick up and carry on and hope things get better.
Well, that's it. 2020 sucked. 2021 is going to be the bounce back,
Yeah.
the recovery, so that by 2022 we can be like, well, what was all that? I don't know. Just keep moving, man.
There are other
Remember when?
countries. Yeah, there are other countries in the world who are like, oh, there was a pandemic, because they're already past it because they haven't done all this bullshit.
Yeah. Yay. So, um, so by the time this airs, this will be just a couple days before New Year's Eve.
Hmm.
But during the week of recording here, we've had kind of a busy week.
It's been an exciting week.
Yeah. We got asked to join in a live view party
Yes.
for Redwood Massacre and Redwood Massacre Annihilation
Hmm.
by David Ryan Keith and Liam Matheson, friends of ours, friends of the show, Clear Focus Films, and just two awesome guys.
Yeah, it was super nice of them to ask us to hop on there. And I know that you had a lot of fun. I had to join in late, but
Yeah. Oh, it was so much fun. Well, and it was supposed to be only like 15 minutes. That's
yes.
the thing. Yeah. So they're like, yeah, 15 minutes is going to kick you off because of the Zoom setup. Oh man, I was on there for an hour,
Hmm.
right? And kept it going so that when you got home, you could hop on.
Yeah.
And you kept going right up until we had to eat.
Yeah.
I jumped off, let you on, finished up dinner, and yeah.
And I go, sorry guys, I gotta run. But it's been really nice. And we got to meet a couple of cool people
Yes.
on that watch party. We got to meet oh my gosh, so many. Dino Girl.
Yep. Elise Cameron,
Yes.
who Dino Girl, or
Mhm.
Pamela.
From
Yes.
the first Redwood Massacre and the beginning of Redwood
A
Massacre
little
too.
bit in the second one.
Uh-huh.
We finally got to meet Mr. Benjamin Selway. We got to see him. He's the one who plays Burlap, the
Mhm.
Burlap Killer. And we're still pushing to get him on the show. So I'm going to email Liam and be like, let's make this happen soon. Because he, as you all know, the Burlap Killer is like our number one.
Oh man, he's so good.
I mean, yeah, he's sitting there locked arms in unity with the greatest all-time slasher killers in Hollywood, and we put him up there with Mike Myers and the original Jason Voorhees before he got really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they did all that stuff with him. Let's see, we got to
Gary Casper.
Gary Casper.
Oh my
God,
God.
yes, I love
Legend.
being able to just chat with him for a little bit.
Hmm.
It was great that I got to because they came on while you were on, so I only got to pop in and go what? And then get back to cooking. But getting to ask Lisa a couple questions was really great. She is such a darling.
She really is so sweet.
Sweet. Yeah, and just Alistair Cook, the author of the books
Right.
for the films.
Yeah. Made after the films.
Yeah.
But Alistair is really cool because he took these films that David made and he wrote books, so one of the main things in Redwood Massacre 2 is that the main character has written a book.
Right.
So Alistair then actually wrote that book.
Yep.
Right. And he went through and he took all this time to like craft these backstories and tie-ins and interesting stuff.
He's just really cool. All these people involved in this, and there were a couple that came in and out,
Hmm.
here and there. It was just really fun. So that was a really hugely wonderful surprise that we both got to do it.
Yeah.
It was longer than 15 minutes,
Yeah.
because I would do this anytime.
That was super fun.
for 4 straight hours
Yeah.
if they wanted. And,
Yeah.
of course, the problem being the time difference.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is doing a kind of live commentary for a watch party. I just wanted to watch the movie kind of because it's going on. And I was like, oh, this part, I'm going to just be quiet and watch for this part.
Yeah, you got to talk.
I know.
I know. And it's funny because the conversations went way off the movie.
Yeah.
Like Alistair asked me a couple questions. Why did we love it so much? And what was that? And, I would, when there was a pause between all the random bullshit, I throw in, like this is why this scene is so fucking good. This is why this movie is so good because of, the lighting, the pacing, this right here, you can just, throwing it all out there.
Mm-hmm.
And, listeners, you've heard us swoon over these films. Well, actually, so spoiler coming up, we did Redwood Massacre Annihilation, but we did a very light, high level, very spoiler free.
Right, because we were able to see the screener and
Yeah.
talk about it before it was released.
Yeah, so we did that episode before it was actually released, but now
We
it's
can
out.
do spoilers.
Yeah, so we're going to revisit Redwood Massacre Annihilation, and we're going to give it the full dissection
Mm-hmm.
so that we can talk about all the stuff that we were our hearts were bursting with pain. I wish we could talk about this. I wish we could talk about that. We don't want to give this away. We don't want to do anything, So,
Mhm.
yeah. So that was fun.
It was fun.
Um,
And you saw something this week.
I did. And it's one of those things, coincidence. We're doing a retrospective
Mm-hmm.
on someone who just loved cinema, loved filmmaking.
I loved the experience of movie watching.
Yes. One of the kings of B-movie filmmakers. Thought this was kind of cool that I stumbled on this documentary. And it's about people who love cinema. So I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah.
Before we get into this.
I haven't yet gotten to watch it. I watched the first couple minutes, but I kept getting interrupted. I'm like, I just want to save this till I have some time to.
Well, yeah, we gave it a go, and then the girl showed up. She's not asleep. She's not talking to her friend. All right. It's probably this week. Give it a view. So anyway, this documentary is called Out of Print. It is has been done by Julia. Oh my God. I didn't do my lip exercises.
They say you're supposed to, if you eat an apple slice, it'll stop all that.
Yeah, I know. That's just my mouth's not working. So anyway, this documentary is by Julia Marquez, and it's about the New Beverly Cinema in LA. That in and of itself was enough to catch me, right? I watched this thing and I was blown away. Number one, she did a fantastic job. And Julia's one of our followers on Twitter. We follow her. And the reason I found it is because there was an exchange. Someone just hey, this was really great. And she's like, oh, thank you. I'm like, well, what was great? The documentary is a few years old, but, like so many other things, falls under our radar because we barely have time to watch the stuff that we need to watch to keep this going.
Right.
Right. So, anyway, this documentary, I am going to go right ahead and say it's on Amazon Prime. It might be elsewhere. Go look for it. Watch it if you're a creative. If you have anything to do with filmmaking, even if you're in working the sets, whatever, watch this because
it's called Out of Print.
Yeah, I said that.
Okay. just
throwing it back in there.
Yeah.
The reason this is so good is because the New Beverly Cinema is a revival theater. We'll just call it that. Started in 1978. They are dedicated to showing films in 35 millimeter film format. So they have several projectionists who work there. working the cameras and stuff. And it starts out with just why people love going to the movies, the whole theater experience. And not today. They start with why this cinema was started and why it's kept its same format. This thing, and there's so many other independent cinemas out there that are revivals that do this kind of thing where they have a double feature. It's $8. Come on. I mean, now with COVID, no one's able to go anywhere. But it slowly starts to get into the difference between 35 millimeter and digital.
Mm-hmm.
There's some great directors that she has on there, and it's just fantastic. Some of the regulars who go to this theater, or did until recently, weekly, some almost daily. But really it gets into what I thought that it was great to bring up now. One, because it's done really well. Two, because it focuses on the experience of the viewer, what it means to go to a cinema and watch a movie. And we've talked about this.
Yeah.
You don't get the same experience watching it on your TV. And for people who watch it on phones, how the fuck? I can't watch it that small.
No.
I need to be able to at least see it on a TV screen, Push comes to shove on a plane, iPad will be fine. But yeah. I won't put anything on there that I'm like, oh, I really want to see this. But the whole thing is, there's a reason we have cinemas. And there was a time when movie makers banked on that cinema experience.
Yes.
And I thought that flew right smack in the flight path of what we're talking about today. We're talking about a man who was all about the movie experience.
Yeah.
In so many different ways. I can't wait to get going on that. But before we do, so I want to say that Julia also has a podcast, the Horror Movie Survival Guide, with co-host Terry Gamble. Go ahead and check them out. It's great fun to listen to. Julia not only made the movie, but she's worked at New Beverly Cinema for years, right? And it's a lot of her experiences too in the documentary, and just some great stories, which is why she chose that theater, because she worked at it. But hopefully we're going to have Julia and possibly even Terry on.
Ooh.
So if you guys are listening, expect a call or an email or however I might reach out to you.
I love that you kind of promo that, and we haven't gotten a confirmation from him about it.
Well, because I did tell her that we're going to mention the documentary.
Okay.
So I'm going to send her a link, say, hey. So this is kind of my warning shot. Shot across the bow. Next one's coming.
Sure.
Full torpedo request.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's she is not only a maker of this documentary, she is an actress and just a cinephile, cinema lover. So out of print, look it up, watch it, folks, because it is a heartfelt love letter to the cinema experience. And towards the end, it deals with some hard truths that we need to start facing about the future.
Mm-hmm.
And what film means to everybody. So I'm not going to say any more than that, because I want everyone to watch it, because it's so worth it. So worth it. Now, with that, we have a man who loved movies before he was a teenager.
Yeah. So
bring it.
I want to preface this by saying this is our New Year's episode. And last year we set a precedent for our New Year's episode by doing a retrospective on Ed Wood Jr.
Yes.
We spent a week watching a bunch of Ed Wood movies, to the point where since that week we have not watched any more Ed Wood movies. And I mean, love Ed Wood, but those movies are crap. So.
Well, but they have their own thing. I mean, folks, and they're
charming, and they're, they have their merits.
Right. Longtime listeners will know the episode. A lot to learn about him. Everyone thinks his movies are crap, but I got to tell you, I think we did some really good like look at yourself,
Oh yeah.
look at Edward, and find his passion in
Yeah.
yourself, because wow,
Yeah.
unparalleled.
I don't think it ever
Not talking about
has been paralleled.
no, I don't think the quality of the product
Reflects the passion.
right.
Right. So
But yeah,
anyway, for this New Year's episode, we wanted to do another retrospective, but pick a different director. And so there are a lot of B-movie and indie film directors who have been either prolific or made a significant influence on filmmaking. And we, talked about a few of them, and we both agreed that we wanted to cover this guy.
yes.
So he is not a contemporary director. We're still kind of back in the golden age of filmmaking for this retrospective. But it's because I think there are a lot of lessons from that age of filmmaking that are really important to be trying to bring into what it's become today.
There are. I mean, that's why we teach history, right? Because the most relevant things we can learn about today, we have to go way back and learn our history.
Right.
And that puts everything in perspective.
It's contextualizing.
Yeah. And from the late 40s, very late 40s, through the 60s was the like golden age of Hollywood. It was the growth of different genres, different things, different approaches. And, this is where filmmaking found its feet.
Yes.
And is also, fun as hell. So, some of these things.
So, the director that we are talking about today, and we've spent the last week, on top of all the other things we've been doing, watching some of his films again, watching some of his films that we haven't seen, or hadn't up until that point.
Right.
And I still haven't seen all of his films, to be honest, but I would love to, go through and watch all of them. It's William Castle. He is known as the godfather of gimmicks.
Yes.
So he had an incredibly unique approach to creating a cinematic experience. And so that is primarily what we wanted to talk about.
Right.
But just to give you a little background on William Castle, he was born William Schloss Jr., born in New York City, April 1914. He did die in May 1977.
Yeah.
So he's no longer with us. But his daughter Terry is still making films.
Yes.
Under the production company Black Castle Entertainment, named for her father, William Castle. So Schloss, which was his original name, is German for castle. So he took that translation and used it as a pseudonym. Because, William Castle sounds like an awesome name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He lost both of his parents at age 11. And then really, I think it was at age 13 that he fell in love with entertainment.
Yes.
So he went to see the play Dracula with Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
Good old Bela.
The man.
Who we talked about in our Ed Wood episode, too.
We certainly did.
And Castle had said that after seeing that play multiple times and meeting Bela, he just knew, right, in his heart what he wanted to do.
Yeah. And
that was scare the shit out of people.
Yep. That's perfectly honorable.
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine, being 13 and going to see Dracula, seeing Bela, who is such a presence in everything that he does, right?
Yeah. Well, and we talked about Bela being just like a really nice man in general, really good guy. So not only did he see Bela in the play, he kept going.
Yeah.
And kept going. And Bela Lugosi took notice of him, invited him backstage, met him, talked to him. And then at one point, he recommended William Castle for the position of assistant stage manager for the road company tour of the play. Castle was 15. 15. And what does any 15-year-old do in that era?
Duh. Yes.
Later, bitches. He dropped out of high school and took the job.
Mm-hmm.
Spent his teen years working on Broadway in jobs from set building to actually acting.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you like talking about this one, so I'll just intro it. So, and at one point, he, as a young man, managed to get a hold of Orson Welles' personal phone number. He knew how to. He's been on Broadway. He knows how to get people to get people to get people to get a number and pass it back. Right.
Right.
So he had, from that point forward, Orson Welles' fucking phone number, which comes in, his life as a big thing. But the reason he wanted to do it was because of a play.
Yes.
That he
wanted to do. Yeah. So, I mean, he'd been working in the theater. He knew what he wanted to do already, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to make the stuff that everyone, loved going to the theater for.
Yeah.
Right? If you think about going to the theater versus going to the theater versus the movie theater, they're two completely different experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that definitely fed him in his inspiration to make movie going more of an experience.
I agree. I think anyone who's been to a stage play knows there is nothing like it.
Oh, no.
Right. Not even playing a movie with watching Rocky Horror with the actors and stuff, playing it out underneath. It's not the same.
It is not.
It's not the same. And I think, and we'll never know because we won't ever get to ask him, but I think what drove him later was, why can't cinema viewing have that kind of energy?
Right.
I mean, it really should, because cinema really was very static and sterile. Right?
It was.
Coming into this era, we've been through World War II, and movies were prefaced by the newsreels. I mean, it was very generic,
mm-hmm.
very antiseptic. Here's the things. May or may not have a trailer, depending on where it was showing. There may or may not be the next chapter of a 5-minute serial, right? And then we get to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
At which point people are walking in and out, coming and going, conducting business, smoking their cigarettes, wearing their big puffy hats, just all manner of shit. If you were to do that in Broadway, 8 guys would show up and just fucking disappear you.
Right.
But theater's got to be so casual that people loved movies, but they weren't as engaging as watching live theater, because in a lot of those old plays and stuff, they'd play right to the audience, walk right to the edge of the stage, stand next to those fucking lights, hold their hand out over the orchestra pit towards the people in the front row, or reach to the balconies. You can't get that on film.
You can't.
So there was a disconnect there, and I think that is what propels him later, which we'll get to.
So,
go ahead.
This play that he wanted to do, he ended up hiring a German actress, Ellen Schwanecki. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but
Schwanecki.
Schwanecki. I don't know.
Schwanecki.
And so he learned after he had hired her that under the Theater Guild regulations of that time, German-born actors could only appear in plays originally performed in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
So it had to be originally a German play. And so he was like, well, that won't do. So he claimed that he had hired her for a play that didn't exist, that he called Das Ich.
Want me to do it?
Yeah, my dad, who speaks German, is going to listen to this and be like, really, Danny?
You give it a go, and I'll give it a go.
Das ist nicht für Kinder.
Das ist nicht für Kinder.
All right.
So anyway,
Not for children.
translated, not for children.
Right.
And
and-
neither were those pronunciations.
He spent a weekend writing this play and having it translated into German. Just rush. Then Germany, and it was Nazi Germany at the time,
Yes.
which is important,
Yes.
sent this actress an invitation to a Munich performance. And Castle saw his plan just like exploded in his head.
Mm-hmm.
He knew what he was going to do.
Yep.
Right? He went out to all the newspapers and gave them this, what he claimed was a telegram that he had sent, turning down the request, saying that this actress, Ellen, her last name, this actress
Schwantke.
is the girl who said no to Hitler. Right?
Yep.
Ooh. So then he, under cover of night, went out and vandalized this theater that he had leased from Orson Welles
Yes.
by painting swastikas all over it. So it worked. Everyone who, I mean, like this play that he wrote over the course of a weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was outrageously successful. They sold out seats every night. And I mean, essentially going to this play was like flipping the bird to Hitler, right? Which everyone wanted to do at that time.
Oh, man. Yeah.
It was a brilliant publicity stunt. And honestly, you know, like the rules that German-born actors could only be in plays originally performed in Germany. Come on.
Yep. You know, so that was like the first step.
It was like the
That
taste, like the
Yeah, that was the explosive moment in the script.
it's the canapé,
It's the foreshadowing.
right?
Yep. The taste of what's to come.
Ooh,
Because after that, he kind of lived a straight life in work.
yeah.
Right. Went to Hollywood at 23, ended up working for Harry Cohn at Columbia Pictures, and then wound a gig as dialogue director for Music in My Heart in 1940. And this is the thing. So this is what separates the great directors in the B-movie realm. And we're going to talk not just about his life, we're going to start talking about what he actually physically did. He is a fucking phenomenal director.
Oh my gosh.
Underrated to the point where everyone should be embarrassed.
It's criminal.
Yeah.
He was underestimated and underrated.
But here's a guy at 11, orphaned, lived with his sister, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
At 15, said, later bitches, and started doing his thing. At 23, he's in Hollywood, California, right? No formal education. And a dialogue director for a film for Columbia Pictures. He spent all of this time doing what we talked about, like Ron Howard and, you know, other people as kids, learning the business.
Yeah.
Learning.
Watching and learning.
Asking questions.
Yeah.
And so by the time we hit 1943, he made his way into directing his first B movie, The Chance of a Lifetime. That's huge.
Right. That's the name of the movie.
Yeah.
Not his opportunity to direct a B movie.
Right. Chance of a Lifetime in 1943. You know, this is another like Horatio Alger story. He had nothing. And just by going to see a play so many times that the lead actor, Bela Lugosi, noticed him.
It's like this kid's here every night.
Right? He's like, yeah, man, this guy, you know, he's a fan, clearly. Let's see what we can do for him. And then, you know, William Castle had it in him to sell himself, you know, knowingly or unknowingly, I don't know, to make Bela Lugosi go, you know, you could actually do this fucking job.
Yeah.
And bam, there you go. Life. It's just it just kills me. Um, right after that, he directed 4 movies in the Whistler series, and in this time, he earned a reputation, and this is super important. This is like the most important thing beyond creativity and vision. He had a reputation for making films under budget and quickly.
Yes.
And as we've talked about, these are the 2 things that were the foundation of B movies. Because an A movie could only come out so often because they did not want to overwork their contracted actors,
Right.
right? Cary Grant wasn't doing a movie and then wrap and then drive to the next lot and start another one,
Right.
right? Because they had to have him for the publicity and the PR and all that shit. But B movies, they wanted these things out. They wanted movies hitting the theater every couple of weeks and in different areas of the country.
Well, yeah, because that's how you get people to keep coming to the movies.
Right. But they had to make different movies for different areas of the country as well.
Mhm.
Because remember, this back then, folks, it wasn't national distribution.
Right.
B movies would play over here and then play over here, and they'd be like, "Oh shit, no, we can't play that in Tennessee. Fuck's sake, they'll burn the theaters down."
Right.
Right. Netflix had a whole miniseries about that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's very good.
It was good.
Kind of topical, but also on point for the time.
Right.
And a hard lens look at us now. But anyway, yeah, those foundations. And like I said, if you made a movie under budget and you could do it quickly,
You're
and
going to keep getting projects.
yes, and let's note, because we didn't put it in our notes here, the quality
Yeah.
of his filmmaking was exceptional. And to do that and save money and have time left over, you are a god among men to the Hollywood executives, because that is their language. What? We actually have money left? And it's 3 weeks early? Those are the things. But then tell us what
Well,
kicked him off.
so, okay, a couple of things happened. Castle had been making a bunch of Westerns, right? Because that was what the B movies essentially were at the time. They were just cranking out Westerns.
Right.
Everyone wanted to see Westerns.
Yes.
Heroes, anti-heroes. It was an exciting time. It's super cheap to film in Italy. Let's make a bunch of those,
Yep.
right? So he made a bunch of Westerns, and then he was very clever. He ended up buying the rights to The Lady from Shanghai, which was a book at the time.
Right.
And it was doing really well, and Castle wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So he had the rights, and he again called up Orson Welles and was like, "Hey, I have the rights to this book, and I want to direct it. Do you think you could put in a word for me? Right? Can you pitch it to the studio? See if I can direct it." So this was in 1947. So Orson Welles got the director's chair on The Lady from Shanghai.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know exactly what happened.
Well, Welles was known.
Yes.
He was a big presence. William Castle had these projects that were well done. But it's Orson Welles.
And yeah, it's Orson Welles. And Castle at the time had pretty much just done a bunch of Westerns and other little things. And because Lady from Shanghai was such a big deal at the time, they wanted to give it to somebody whose name would bring a gravitas to it.
Right.
But because he did have the rights, because he was a very intelligent man, William Castle.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Super smart. A lot of foresight. Right? He was an associate producer.
Yes.
For Lady from Shanghai. And then Castle was like, well, I could still, I still want to do movies. Like I want to do my own
Mm-hmm.
movies, you know? So he had seen the 1955 French film Diabolique.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of took some inspiration from that movie.
Well, it brought him back to Bela Lugosi.
It did.
And Dracula.
Back to horror.
Back to
scaring
the pants off
yeah.
of people. And a psychological thriller can do that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be jump scares to scare
right.
people. But yeah, I think that was his.
It's not an outright horror, right? But
yeah.
I think, that was his inspiration. So he wanted to make this film he tried to raise money for it.
Right.
Wasn't able to do so. Ended up mortgaging his house to make the movie Macabre.
Mm-hmm.
So interestingly, Macabre cost him $90,000 to make.
Yes.
Part of that actually went into the gimmick that he ended up doing for the movie. Yes. The gimmick. So for a lot of his movies, earlier ones where he did his bigger stuff, half-ish of the budget went to the cinematic experience, not to the actual filming of the movie itself.
Right.
Half.
Oh.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But Macabre made him $5 million in revenue.
And that's a huge profit margin.
Huge.
For back then especially.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
So
yeah, go ahead. Yeah. What did he do for Macabre?
Castle's a theatrical guy. So he made this movie Macabre, which is a psychological thriller, which we did watch this week.
Mm-hmm.
It is good. It is really good.
Yeah.
And he had, it was written by Rob White. He had Rob White write it. Mm-hmm. And Rob White is another criminally underestimated creative.
Yes. Well, and that's something I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So
here's what he did for Macabre. This was his debut, right? Every person who went into the theater to see Macabre, he had them sign for a $1,000 life insurance policy from Lloyd's of London, just in case they die of fright during the film.
Yep.
He also stationed nurses in the lobbies of every theater. And he parked hearses outside, and he showed up to showings of Macabre in a hearse, mm-hmm. in a coffin, where they would bring the coffin down through the theater,
yep.
and he would step out of the coffin and give his whole spiel. He was a showman.
He was, and I mentioned he's like the P.T. Barnum.
Yeah.
Of Hollywood. Just way over the top.
So I mean,
brilliant.
This is marketing on a level that had never ever even been considered to be done.
Right.
In this era of filmmaking.
Yeah, and this isn't just cutouts with people in costumes in front of the theater, doing their things. Or I'm going to play the opening and the ending of Macabre, because this is also something that became a staple in his horror films. Mm-hmm. Is not only do we have the trailers and the hoopla and all that, when you're actually sitting in the theater, this little bit here that I'll play in a minute, it comes out and it's like, man, talk about fucking breaking the fourth wall.
Well, that's the
right?
thing. I mean, a kind of the fourth wall thing.
Yeah.
But a kind of contemporary equivalent-ish to this kind of marketing. And I think Castle would have been very impressed with the marketing of the movie I'm going to mention right now.
Sure.
Movie itself aside. The Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
Had a fantastic marketing program because the internet was new at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they were doing this. They did kind of the first viral marketing program.
Yeah.
For this movie. And the hype that got built up around the Blair Witch Project.
Well, they did a fucking William Castle, Orson Welles.
Yeah.
flat out just fucking lying about what they're talking about in that, news flash. They actually published their story on the few news platforms that there were when Blair Witch came out. And people were like, what
is
the
going on?
Fuck?
And lots of people went to see Blair Witch Project in the theaters because everyone was like, what is this shit?
Yeah.
Can you imagine going to a theater in 1958? Macabre. And there are hearses parked outside, and you walk in, and there's nurses.
Medical personnel.
Yeah, medical personnel in the lobby. And someone comes up to you, and they're like, we need you to sign this waiver and life insurance policy just in case you die.
Right.
While watching the movie.
Yeah.
Then you go and sit down.
And after all the other film fuckery going on, right, the main feature comes up. So here it is. This is the opening of Macabre.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the next hour and 15 minutes, you will be shown things so terrifying that the management of this theater is deeply concerned for your welfare. Therefore, we request that each of you assume the responsibility of taking care of your neighbor. If anyone near you becomes uncontrollably frightened, will you please notify the management so that medical attention can be rushed to their aid? Please set your watches. It is 6:45 in the evening in a town called Thornton.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's how the movie begins. Right? And then, so we're in the regular movie, and it's fantastic. A lot of good names in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Young, unknown names at the time. And then we get to the end of this film, and then we get this little tidbit.
Ladies and gentlemen, please do not, I repeat, please do not reveal the ending of this picture to your friends, as it will spoil their enjoyment of it.
Now, that's not so much a gimmick as a plea.
Right.
Because at this time, it's known that he and a lot of other people had a real frustration with what I was talking about earlier, the super casual nature of going to the theater.
Yeah.
You know, people will say, oh, I saw that in the theater. Odds are, right?
I saw 5 minutes of it.
Yeah, 6 or 7 out of 10 people, saw 5 minutes total, and they spent the whole time fucking about or snoozing or doing all this shit. Yeah, or, coming in and out and going out and having a drink and coming back. It's just, people didn't care about seeing whole movies. I don't know. I would like to think we were more different today, but we've been to the theater and all these fucking texting phone addict fuckheads.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many people today see the whole movie, but this was not the first time, or I'm sorry, not the last time that please don't talk about the ending message came up in his movies. Because people would do that.
Twist endings.
Well, he did, and it makes sense. We dissect films here, right? People, we dissect them. We talk about every aspect of it. So if the title of the episode looks interesting to you, listener, go watch the film. Everyone knows that by now.
Right.
And newcomers, well.
Sorry.
Yeah, should have, we dissect the whole film. See it first and then hear us talk about it. Or if you're not interested in the movie, just hear us talk about, shit that might make you want to watch it.
Well, I've heard people tell us that listening to us talk about a movie has made them want to go watch it.
Yeah.
Which is great.
On both levels.
Yeah.
I want to see what you're talking about because, my script writer, my having a tough time with something, this would be, see what this is about. Or just, I like movies and this sounds great. Thank you.
Right.
I want to see it, So we have all of that out in the lobby. We have all of that going on. We have you're about to get, fucked for life
right.
at the beginning. And then please keep your goddamn mouth shut.
Yeah.
At the end. All of this started something magical.
It did.
It brought that link between stage and audience closer together to join, right? Now it's not just the static thing on the screen after all the loops and reels and shit, Um, fuck, something about this. People want me to sign a life insurance policy. What the hell am I in for?
Right.
Right? Now, whether in their minds that hyped up stuff delivered becomes irrelevant.
Right.
Because this is.
Well, and he had spread rumors that people had had, heart attacks and fainted and all this stuff during the movie, which is great fun,
Well, it is. And, there's no such thing as bad press in this stuff.
No.
I mean, in fact, not just him. Orson Welles did some of this stuff too. Some other filmmakers started doing this kind of stuff. And they would put in plants to be the bad guy, to say the bad thing, or they'd make the shit up themselves.
Right.
And make sure it got out, get some bad press, because then we can counter that or just be like, hey, if it's that bad, maybe you should see it. Right. Kind of thing. So I want to talk a little bit about Macabre itself.
Oh, yeah.
This movie was really well done. All of his movies are really well done.
They really are.
I think we can group a bunch of them together.
I was going to say, you can also kind of tell when these movies, because so Macabre was done in 1958. Yes. So any version of that you see of it now is a restored version, right?
Right.
Not all movies restore beautifully.
No.
His movies restore gorgeously.
Digitally converted.
Sure.
Not necessarily restored, because
right.
there is a
difference.
So they don't convert well.
Right.
Right.
His convert, and if it needed to be restored, restored beautifully, but it holds up even now.
Yeah. All of his movies have the hallmarks of his talent.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why we want to talk about him. William Castle is an excellent example of a director who understands pacing.
Yeah.
Right. So Macabre is an hour and 15 minutes.
There is no fat in this movie.
Right. None. Everything has a purpose, and its purpose is for a set period of time. And he makes sure not one dribble of fat, right, makes it onto the plate. Cut. The editing, the pacing of the scenes, the dialogue. There's a very different feel to movies from the 50s and 60s, especially from William Castle and these B-movie folks, as compared to today. We've talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
The 15-minute speech scene. It's like, is this guy stroking out every third sentence? I mean, why the long fucking pauses? Why is it taking so long to say this? Other directors, shit, they would have already been through the, fucking third act by now.
Yeah.
Right. It's just a masterclass of pacing.
It is.
And for a writer, it's a great example. When you're putting shit on paper, because the director's going to fuck with it, and some of your stuff's not going to make it, and they might rewrite stuff. But if you give them something really good to work with, odds are most of it's going to make it in. If it has those things, good pacing, like dialogue, bing, bang, boom, boom, cut to this, cut to this, cut to this. Like we were watching a Riff Tracks movie last night and today. We had to break it up over a few views.
It was an old...
it was old Chuck Norris's Breaker.
Old Chuck Norris one, yeah.
So many just random scenes. We're watching, I'm like... I mean, did anybody actually know what the fuck the movie was they were making? Because it's like they just turned like 10 cameramen loose out in the countryside and then just pieced together the random shit that they shot. It was just guy on a motorcycle. Why? What?
And the guys from Riff Tracks, guess we're seeing this again.
Oh, hey, look, more of this.
Someone driving, yeah.
But that is actually representative of a lot of films today. A-movies are chock full of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
You look at folks like Quentin Tarantino, Kevin Smith. They keep it for two reasons. They keep the brevity of the film piece by piece by piece by piece for storytelling, but also because of money. I mean, I'm sure any one of them, if they could get away with it, be like, oh man, I would love to make a movie. The script's about an hour and 5 minutes, but right in the middle, I'd like to put a 45-minute just fucking visual opus.
Yes.
To nothing, Well, unless you're going to pony up your own $50 million, no. So they can't do it. But watching it, you can see that, yeah, he was very conscious of money.
Mm-hmm.
The actors, go. We had still a lot of, in this period, they did a lot of like a silent movie.
Yes.
Reaction close-up shots, because in the silent films, I mean, you had to.
Well, you did, because, I mean, until they had sound attached to film, everything had to be done via expression, right?
Right. And screaming should be big.
Yeah.
Not some tiny little woman on the bottom quarter of a movie screen going, you can't hear me, can you, folks? You probably can't see what I'm doing because, it's a podcast. But in the movie theater, you still can't see what they're doing because they're tiny on the screen. So what do? Have them stand 3 feet from the camera and then scream.
So, yeah, I mean, you are in that kind of awkward period between like the transition theatrical to, silent movies to talkies, and still with, theatrical backgrounds for all actors, because obviously if you can't act if you've never been in the theater was the thinking
right
back then. So it's in this kind of like awkward adolescent phase of the all the movies at this point in time were a little gawky, a little gangly, had a couple pimples, right?
Yeah. I love that description.
Well,
well, I'm with you.
But I had never seen this movie before this week, and after watching it, I just adore it. And so, I mean, if you've never seen it, the kind of premise is that doctor's daughter is kidnapped and buried alive, and he's given 5 hours to find and rescue her.
Right. It's a very Hitchcockian type thing, which brings us into a little interesting bit about William Castle that makes him even more interesting, not just as a man, but professionally as a director and producer. They knew each other.
Yes. There was a bit of a rivalry there.
It is common knowledge that William Castle ripped off Alfred Hitchcock just as much as Alfred Hitchcock
ripped off
William Castle.
Yeah, which is less well known.
But believe it, folks, these two,
ripped each other off.
And here's the thing, it wasn't hateful.
No.
It was one-upmanship.
It definitely was.
And nobody went to court.
It was anything you can do, I can do better.
Yep. And I just think that is awesome. So
yeah.
let me show you what I can do.
But here was the beautiful thing about their antagonistic relationship towards each other, right?
Yeah.
It made both of them into better filmmakers.
It did. And that's the thing. It kept them from becoming complacent.
Yeah.
It forced them to keep going further outside of the box they had just redefined. Because each one did.
Oh, yeah.
And then when one did, the other one shattered it and did their own, and then vice versa. So, yeah, in terms of the horror kind of thing, it's because of these two men that we have the classics that we do, that we have these films, by Castle that we have that resound through movies up till this very minute.
Right.
Right. Whether they know it or not. That's the thing. Some of these folks don't. I've heard people are like, wow, I've like heard Alfred Hitchcock was like this guy. Like, how the fuck did you get to direct a major motion picture without knowing your film history? That's a huge bitch that deserves its own podcast that I have. But
yeah. So, the other thing, before we kind of go on to the next,
There you go.
there's the mic boop of the night. So, anyway, the other thing I wanted to go into before we hop onto this next film, which is that we're going to talk about, is that William Castle made all of his movies family friendly,
Well, yeah.
which is massive, which is huge, because what made him fall in love with entertainment, theater, filmmaking, and everything was going as a kid, right?
Right.
And I
And
love that he never lost sight of that.
Mhm.
And I mean, like, you probably wouldn't want to bring a 6-year-old to Macabre, but you could definitely bring like a 10-year-old.
But see, that's the thing that they did.
Well, they did.
Well, they did. But and for the time period, based on what people were exposed to on a daily basis, a lot of this stuff was shocking.
Right.
Right. I mean, today we look at it and we're like, really, son? Come on. Because we have seen way worse in cinema in real life these days. But here's the thing. Cinema was like the one thing the family could do.
Yeah.
Like a quiet time. And for the parents, I mean, because we love spending time with our daughter.
Oh, yeah.
But there are those moments where it's like, oh man, if we could like spend time together, share an experience, and do it quietly and restfully.
Right. Not have to run around.
Bonus. Because parents get fucking tired.
Mm-hmm.
And what better way than for about an hour and 20 minutes for the cost of a movie ticket, some popcorn, and some kind of beverage to all sit down, watch the same thing, and come out of that as solid family time. Maybe you'll talk about it after.
Mm-hmm.
But every kid who's done that, every adult who's done that as a kid, we hear them, directors and producers, who've been at this for ages, like, I remember when my dad took me to see so-and-so, I was 5 years old. And you think of the title of the movie, you're like, well, that's no fucking movie for a 5-year-old.
Right. It is like, I remember he was like, don't tell mom.
Right. But family theater wasn't like it was today. It was just the movies.
Right.
Because they would have sometimes cartoons that kids liked, but they were for the adults. Those Western serials or the gangster serials, 3 to 5 minutes each week of something going on. The kids just dug that shit.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, there was something in it for everybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, he knew that.
He did.
It's like, you can't lose that. This is what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. I mean, we kind of explained the experience of going to Macabre as an adult, but imagine that same experience as a kid.
Yeah.
Right? Whoa! This is crazy. That's something you'll never forget.
Well,
that's a real experience.
I would say 6 would be the youngest. I think 8 to 10 would be more suited because it's a thinker as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just like visually, you got to really kind of think about what people are doing and talking about a little bit. But like House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah.
Right, you could take a 6-year-old to that.
Yeah.
Because it really doesn't matter what they're talking about. 6-year-old's going to be from beginning to end. Oh, what the fuck is that? Oh, what the fuck is that? Why are you making me watch this?
So why don't we then talk about House on Haunted Hill?
So House on Haunted Hill, 1959, filmed in Emergo.
Or Emergo.
Well, it's Emergo. Emerge.
I've heard it both ways.
No, you haven't.
I have, so.
So what they would do, Emergo Vision is this. So while the movie's playing, there's a box up by the screen, right? Mm-hmm. And when the skeleton comes out on screen, a skeleton will come out of the box with red lighted eye sockets attached to a wire that floats over the audience in the final moments of some of the showings of the film to parallel the action, on the screen and all that. This is not the first something new vision.
Right. No.
Even Ed Wood had his own vision, something vision,
Yeah.
Scarorama, it just cracks me up. These aren't patented film development or film camera techniques.
Right.
It's just PR, man. Just wild ass PR. And then ultimately, though, these things kind of backfire. Word spreads about the skeleton, and then kids are like expecting it, and if they see it in their theater, they start like throwing shit to knock it down.
I mean, kids do that.
Well, I mean, it's kids and are kids, right? But the one thing about House on a Haunted Hill is William Castle pioneered scare tracks with the darkness, screaming, chaotic sounds before the showings of House on Haunted Hill. So anytime you go to a haunted house
right
today,
and
right?
You hear the whoa, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah, the random scary shit and sounds. Thank William Castle.
Yeah.
Okay?
Anytime you have a Halloween party and you put on one of those like Sounds of Halloween CDs.
Well, yeah, I think I've even got some just random.
Here we go. I got one.
You got one?
It was a monster.
Oh, well, I've got here's a typical like.
Oh, sure.
Mix of sounds, right? So yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But let's talk about House on Haunted Hill. So we have Vincent Price.
So this is the premise of the movie.
Yeah.
So a millionaire is offering $10,000 to all these people that he's invited to get locked into a haunted house.
Yes.
If they survive the night, they get the $10,000.
Well, if they stay
right
till morning.
Well, stay and survive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, Vincent Price in one of his earlier roles. So William Castle cast Vincent Price in several of his movies. And it was partially because of these movies with William Castle that Vincent Price ended up becoming the legend that he is.
Right. The horror icon.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because he's not a killer, like slasher killer. He's not a phantasmical force, fucking shit up. He plays these different levels of characters that in Castle's films it's kind of, you're watching and you're like, I don't know, is he good or bad?
He is okay. Here's how I think of Vincent Price and pretty much everything that he is. Okay. He's the sexy, don't really know what to make of him guy. He's like sexy, mysterious guy. And that's what he is in every movie that he plays. Kind of.
Well, but then you get the Pit and the Pendulum, which is outside of this scope.
Well,
but he's, I don't know.
But principally.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah. I think too, what cemented their working relationship is because according to Castle's daughter, because she's met Vincent Price, she's talked about going over to his house for dinner. And this comes from so many people, not just her, but up until the day he passed, he was such a good goddamn person. So gentle and polite.
And elegant,
eloquent, and just, he was fun. He wasn't stiff,
Right.
He wasn't upper crust but he was just like a real wonderful human being.
Yeah.
And anyone who's had him in their circle has come away saying that. But he was very serious about his work.
Oh yeah.
And I see him, right? And it keeps reminding me of David Tennant, because when we went to Comic-Con that one time and we saw Alex Kingston talking about her work with Tennant.
Oh yeah.
And
Tennant versus Matt Smith.
Yeah, Matt Smith. Excuse me. She's like, working with David was so, and he never missed a line. He would bam, bam, the guy was a consummate artistic professional as an actor.
Just perfection all the
Yeah.
way through.
And then
She says.
there was Matt, who was the exact opposite
Yeah.
of that. But I have a lot of respect for people who can hold that level of professionalism as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it has anything to do with it, but still be human, not prima donna, not, just like shit on everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, good old Vincent Price.
Yeah. So, I love this movie. I've loved this movie for a long time. The first time I had seen this movie, I didn't really know who William Castle was.
Right.
So this was probably my first exposure to William Castle. And it's his most well-known film, I think.
Mhm.
And part of that is because House on Haunted Hill is in the public domain.
Yes.
So it's everywhere. And that was just due to an oops in renewing the copyrights for it.
Yeah. So the same kind of, not the exact same oops, the same kind of oops of Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Romero fucked up. And so, now we got two iconic movies.
So if you want to make a movie and put a cool, oldie movie in the background, pop on House on Haunted Hill. Everyone does Night of the Living Dead.
I know.
Be different.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Bring some Vincent to your film.
Here's something. So in Macabre and in House on Haunted Hill, we have these actors who were young at the time or younger at the time, right, than they were when they were more well known.
Right.
And this tracks for a lot of his films where he pulls in someone that he thinks is really talented and they end up going on to do big things.
Yes.
Castle knew how to cast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously he would have a casting director, but the director always has a say in the cast, right?
Yes.
And so he knew how to cast his movies. And in House on Haunted Hill, I love the chemistry between all of the characters in the movie, and especially the chemistry between Vincent Price's character, Frederick Lauren, and his wife, Annabelle Lauren.
Yes.
Ooh, that couple.
I know.
They're so good.
It's delicious, is what it is. And watch it 1,000 times, and it doesn't.
Remember the fun we had that time you poisoned me?
I know. It's a style. Vincent Price's style cannot be emulated or replicated. It's just his.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen people who try to do it, right? Folks, just don't. Okay, when there's a master, just let the master be the master, right? Come up with your own thing. So, well, seriously.
Yeah.
And, we've talked about, and if you're an actor, you don't need to be a master. You just need to be good. You just need to do some good stuff. Which, before we get on these films, keep going, I want to hit this point. Here's a huge lesson based on example. He didn't write this.
No. Rob White.
Yeah, he didn't write Macabre.
Nope.
We are talking about William Castle, the director/producer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Last year we talked about Ed Wood, who wrote
and directed
and produced
mm-hmm.
all of his shit. So here's the thing, folks. And I know you can't be general, but I've said it. Overall, directors should not be involved in the writing of the film. Independent stuff is different. I'm talking like the last three. So here's a good example, right? When you have someone who's an A-list director and you hire him for a movie, they let them write the script. I think that's a classically bad idea. Take the last 3 Star Wars films in every case, bad shit and still bad, in that order, because it's just stupid to do that. There are plenty of people out there who it's their fucking job to write.
Yeah.
and to write something great, to be able to hand it to someone to turn into a visual piece of work, right?
Mm-hmm.
At that level, they should not let these people do it. So like we're watching Mandalorian, like so many other people, because this was not slated as this is a, we're expecting $1 billion return on this, right? It's just, hey, we're going to put some shit on Disney Plus and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And people fucking love it because Jon Favreau kept it fucking simple.
Well, and Jon Favreau has a lot of passion for.
Well, he does have a lot of passion, but he's letting all these people do their thing. But it's at a different level when they started because he's like, I just want story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want all this background bullshit to be the thing, because that's what happened to the last 3 movies. There was no story. Nobody gave 2 fucks. There was too much, CGI masturbation going on. Look what I can do. Oh yeah, well look what I can do. I can make 1 million ships. Who gives a good goddamn?
Right.
I'd have traded that all in for a 10-minute short.
Oh yeah.
Just good conversation and some like, excuse me, actual plot.
Yeah.
But it's also going back to like Old West style. And the Old West style is what like Star Wars is supposed to be. They talk about Star Trek, wagon train to the stars. That's how Roddenberry sold it.
Yeah.
Star Wars was based on, a Western type thing, right? The white hat, the black hat, not the bad guy, just the black hat on the white hat guy's side.
Right.
The damsel in distress, the big baddie, right? And then bucking the system. Butch and Sundance in space.
Oh yeah.
And rescuing a princess. And that's what made it work. Because it's not a super great story. It's not a deeply intricate plot, but it is as fucking fun as you can get.
Yeah.
That's what gave us a franchise. Castle, I think part of his success was not insisting that he
do everything.
I want to write this movie and then I want to produce it and I'm going to direct it. And fuck, why not? I'll even be in it. I think we would have had a very different outcome.
Well, he knew where his strengths were and he really played to those. And he got people on his team who collaborated really well with him.
Right.
And I remember, and his daughter said in interviews that she remembers as a little girl being on the sets of his movies, because she was on the sets of all of his movies.
Well, yeah.
And feeling like in every single one, like it was just a big family.
Yes.
It was such a wonderful atmosphere of collaboration and he knew everyone's name. And
that's the thing right there. He knew who you were.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're the guy in the back who turns shit off and on. Right? Because you got the wire box that you put together, right? And he's listening for him to, cue this, cue that, turn this light on, this one off, doing that. He knows who you were. Most people today have no fucking clue, right?
Yeah.
They got their headset. These guys are like 300-400 yards away from the director. He'll never see him face to face. He just calls the commands, click, 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 and then they're off. This was a very intimate.
It is, and I think
way of doing it.
It even comes across in his intros that he does for these movies. Because when he comes on screen and is like, in this film, yada, 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 like we just played earlier.
Yeah.
He has such a warm presence. Like you can feel it coming through. Like, like he's the type of guy who, would see you and be like, bring her over here and give you a big hug. And like, just, I don't know.
Well, and, so like for Macabre, that was just his voice. But then in the later films, we get the Hitchcock type.
Sure, with the stogie.
And then he turns to the camera.
Uh-huh.
Hello, folks.
I'm William Castle.
I'm William Castle.
The director of this film.
This film that you're about, and different variations. Director of this film that you're about to see. I feel a personal responsibility to tell you just how fucking scary this movie's going to be. It kills me.
I love it.
I know. I love it. It's a stamp on cinematic history that I don't think that would play well today. Because I don't think like the big studios would be able to do this. I think we'd need all the B movie group and the indie folks could figure out how to revive this approach. Right?
The warmth of like putting a face to the name. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But going back to the scripts, quick. The one thing he had a talent for above all else was knowing a good script.
Knowing a good story.
Yeah.
As well, because he often would buy rights to a book that was doing well at the time.
Yeah, and have someone
then adapt it
to a screenplay. Yes. Right. And that's where it all comes together. You see it in his films. I mean, I don't know how to, like, you know, wax eloquently on this any more than just watch his stuff. And it's clean, it's crisp, the story flows. They're good stories. They're the acting performances he gets out of people is fantastic. Yeah, it's just so well done, and it's all done. And forget because we're watching it without all the lobby full of medical personnel and, you know, gimmicks that we're going to talk about here real quick.
Uh-huh.
This is heartfelt, absolute art in cinematic creation. William Castle and folks like him, who you know, because more folks were doing things like this after this all kind of got out there. You know, like I said, we had so many visions and
oh yeah,
and Creeporama. Okay, he just was really good, and it was all for the audience.
Yeah,
and that's kind of
to make it an experience.
Yeah, and that's why that. Just jumping back to the beginning, the documentary, movie going is a huge thing for people. And I think that's where the disconnect has come from maybe the last 30 years. Movies are about, or movie houses or studios. Well, I mean, names are interchangeable. Let's say the big studios, all they want is money. That's it. They could give a good goddamn about what they leave as an imprint or whatever. So, you know what? I'd rather make 10 $500 million shit films.
Well, none of them have an overall like mission statement that's like, these are the kind of films that we stand behind. Right.
Those are indie and small scale production companies. Are like, we do this, we do this, we do this. And they do well within that.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the disconnect, because we have these fucking metroplexes that, you know, we can have food served to us during the movie. We're in our kickback recliners and stuff. Now, I'm not going to complain. If I could put a Lazy Boy in a revival cinema, I'd be happy as hell.
Right?
Because I'm sitting here having thrown my back out 2 days ago.
Yeah, poor babe.
And I'm thinking, oh, I wish we had one. I'd make it fit in this office. I'd use my gaming chair, but the thing's so fucking squeaky, you know.
Oh yeah, it is.
Can't edit that out. Oh. But anyway, that's the thing. All of these things that he did, we're going to talk a little bits about some of the other stuff coming up, and the gimmicks that he came up with was because he knew, he never forgot what it was like sitting in the audience,
right,
and seeing film, and then comparing that with stage, and bringing the story to the audience.
I mean, he never forgot that it was supposed to be a magical experience.
Right. And that is the perfect wedding.
Yeah.
See, I think if someone could get like a whole retrospective of his films, like the New Beverly Cinema would, I think, maybe they have. I don't know. It's been going since 1978. These are the kinds of movies I think that people would absolutely come out like orgasmically numb in their head, that I have this whole experience of this little cinema. I have this 35 millimeter film, and all of a sudden I'm watching a movie literally designed for this whole setup I'm in. Oh my God.
So, yeah. So, a lot of people kind of talk about him as a master marketer, right? He did all these marketing gimmicks, and they're what made his movies famous, and yada, yada, yada. But I think that it was, I mean, he was very good at marketing, but I think that was, it was a byproduct of his intense desire to make movie going an experience, right?
Right.
It wasn't his primary objective, you know what I mean, to get people in, butts in seats, make money. I mean, obviously, he was a businessman. He wanted to make money.
Yeah.
But the other part of it is that it was important to him that, the experience was magical for the families and kids that are going to see his movies.
Yes.
That they remember that, oh. So that brings me to the next movie that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is an excellent example of that. It's less a marketing gimmick than it is making it part of the experience. So this movie was 1959. It's called The Tingler. So it's about an obsessed pathologist, and it's our good friend Vincent Price again. An obsessed pathologist discovers and captures a parasitic creature that grows when fear grips its host.
Yes.
So The Tingler was filmed in Percepto.
Yeah.
So here's what Percepto was. The title character of the movie is a creature that attaches itself to the spinal cord and is activated by fright and can only be destroyed by screaming.
Yeah.
So what he did was he spent, again, half the budget that he had allotted for this movie
Yep.
on surplus military airplane wing de-icers that had these little vibrating motors. And so what a lot of incorrect rumors about this movie was that he put shocks in the seats and shocked the audience.
Right. Actually sent electricity into people.
Not true.
No.
So what he did was he got all these little motors and he had a crew travel from theater to theater and attached them to the underside of some of the seats in the movie theaters. So this again, I mean, it played well because no movies really opened nationwide. Mm-hmm. They specifically picked places for them based on how they thought they would do in those places.
Right.
And so in the finale, and he goes kind of meta in this movie. So this was one of the movies we watched through the week. The creature in the film gets loose in the movie theater that is below the apartment of the guy in the movie. So it's like Inception, right? The creature is getting into the theater and, we're all in the theater. So the creature has come out of the movie essentially and is wandering through the theater.
Yeah.
And then the buzzers were activated as Vincent Price is saying, "Scream for your lives." And they have this footage of people screaming, or not footage, but recordings of people screaming while watching this movie. And actually this went over really well for a while. I mean, it was an expensive kind of stunt to pull, but what a cool experience it would have been. Right. So cool. In fact, that John Waters, who's a filmmaker and a big William Castle fan, has many times recounted, and especially in that documentary Spine Tingler about William Castle.
Right.
John Waters recounted how he would go back to the Tingler again and again and again and again. And every time he went, he would look for the seats that had the buzzer attached, so that he would get buzzed.
And that's the thing. I can see where the rumors came out because everyone knows hand buzzers by now. The little joke.
Oh yeah.
Thing, right. And in the comics or the illustrations for it, it shows lightning bolts and stuff.
Yeah.
All it is just this thing wound up.
It's just a vibrating.
Yeah. And it goes.
Yeah.
And but it feels kind of weird.
Well, because your hand has a lot of nerves in it.
Well, it also it's being no stranger to electricity. It's a very much a similar sensation.
Right.
Without the actual pain. But there is that kind of feeling. So
it's unsettling.
It really is. So yeah, I mean, I can see where people would kind of get that idea. And then just, there's the whole telephone game thing. Mm-hmm. I went to a movie and they had this thing that on my ass. John went to a movie and it zapped his ass. Doesn't take long to get that point,
Right. There is in this movie, one scene as an example of really, really interesting and clever and creative filmmaking. So, do you want to talk about the bathroom scene?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do. So so these are black and white films, right? Um, we have all seen black and white films. Let's take I don't know, take anything, like the Journey to the Moon kind of thing, um, where they take old black and white films and like they've hand colored them.
Yeah.
And then when you watch them, I mean, and the people who owned the films back in the day would use like some sort of like watercolor. So then you're watching it and it's like
psychedelic.
It's super psychedelic.
Crazy.
It just almost fucks you up. And today we still have things that are done in black and white with like punches of color.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all filters and computers. In Tingler, there's this brilliant scene in the bathroom.
It's so well done. And really the only reason you can tell how it was done now is because HD essentially kind of gives it away.
Pretty much, yeah. So anyway, she goes into the bathroom and the sink is running and it's red. The water is red, blood.
Bright red on a black and white film.
And there's also a shot, same thing with the television.
It's a tub.
Or tub, television. Yeah, the tub has like blood in it. It's blood red water.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all black and white. But if you look at it, you can see there's a abrupt change in the main picture quality. Because what's happening is they have like, let's do the bathtub because that's the easiest one to explain. So they set a tub up on a stage, right? All angled proportionately to the dimensions of the set that the bathroom scene was shot in. And the tub is made up to look black and white.
Yes. It's painted in monochrome.
Yep. Monochrome, right? They shoot it in color with the red water. And what's happening is behind them, the original scene is being projected on a screen.
Right, which was filmed separately.
Yeah, which was already done.
Yeah.
Already done. And by, positioning, so think of like modern day Lord of the Rings, right? We have Ian McKellen over here doing Gandalf alone, but he's interacting with 12 people on screen because they have dummies and stuff and they have everything placed out. Well, it wasn't quite that elaborate, but they did that. They measured and figured out the perspective, and this is what it looks like. So from when they show the tub is nice and crisp.
Yes.
Right. But very much like Harryhausen style, right? It's being projected on the back of a screen. So they're filming the whole thing. That's why the original quality of the scene gets fuzzy. It's like a copy of a copy.
But you wouldn't have known in the theater. It would have been
a little bit.
Yeah.
But not enough to be like, ah. And then for the sink, they reconstructed that sink part of the set against a screen, back projected the scene, right? Lined everything up. And you can tell by the hand cloths to the left of the sink.
Yeah.
You can see where the real deal is and what was left in the original shot when they did it, right? So
they colored everything in those scenes monochrome and filmed in color.
Yes. And so, they turn the water on, the red water's coming out, but everything about the sink is monochrome because of the paint and everything that they use. That's fucking brilliant.
So clever.
And a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
So this was kind of the like pre-green screen, and they would do it a lot for like when people were driving in cars, right?
Oh,
they would have the car sitting and they would have something actually playing on a screen projected behind them.
Yeah.
So it looked like the car was moving.
Yeah.
Right. And that was the green screen essentially of the age.
Yeah.
It was how you got that effect. So he did this, but he did it in a way that's much harder than just projecting on a screen and filming through a car window.
The quality that he pumped out is ridiculously high.
It's really good.
Because then we get like Ed Wood, who, again, is unparalleled for his passion for filmmaking.
Absolutely.
His excitement, his level of energy. But let's be honest, people, the finished product
didn't quite meet the mark.
Oh, so many things wrong.
It was kind of like,
you You can love it all you want, but it's still an ugly fucking dog,
Yeah.
right? To the rest of the world.
You know, I love paintings. I love looking at paintings and studying paintings. And, but when I take a brush to a canvas to paint a scene, it does not come out the way that it's in my head because I just don't have the talent or the education or, the experience.
That's why we're writers.
Right.
Right? We can put it in words. I've tried the same. I've tried oils, acrylics, watercolors, sketching. I mean, you've seen my sketch work.
Yeah.
It's not great.
And that's how I feel like Edwin was. Like he really loved movies and filmmaking and just really got into it. It's just that, like, I don't think it ever came out on screen how it was in his head.
No, I agree with you. Well, let's skip through some of these. We don't need to talk about every movie. So 1960, we had 13 Ghosts, which was filmed in Illusiono. Each patron received a handheld ghost viewer / remover. So at different segments of this film, a person could see the ghosts by looking through like red cellophane side or hide them by looking through the blue cellophane side. So depending on what eye you used, you could see the ghost or not.
Well, actually, It was they weren't glasses. They were long pieces of cellophane. So you'd lift it, lower it, lift it.
Right. Yeah. A viewer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when there was a DVD release of the film that included a red-blue viewer like that to replicate that effect, the idea is being attributed to an idea he had after an eye doctor appointment.
Yeah.
And we all know how that is. 1, 2, better,
right,
better, left, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a fun thing, know?
Homicidal, 1961, there was a freight break.
Yeah. So at the film's climax, the audience had 45 seconds to leave and get a full refund if they were too frightened to see the ending of the film, essentially.
Yep.
And in early showings, patrons just sat through the movie a second time and left at the break to get their money back. And Castle initially was like, okay, we'll have different color tickets for each viewing. And then people were still asking for refunds. Because, if someone's like, you leave, you get a refund. Anyone, is like, well, I want my money back. Like, I'll save me a dime, even if they like it. And Castle was like, okay, enough of this. Right?
Yeah.
So he came up with the Coward's Corner.
I love this.
And this is the great thing, because in this era, getting called a coward, ooh.
That was not what you wanted.
Yeah. So it was a big yellow cardboard booth manned by a theater employee in the lobby. And when the fright break was announced and you couldn't take it anymore, you had to leave your seat and in front of the whole audience, follow this like yellow footstep road.
Yes.
Bathed in yellow light and people yelling, like coward, watch the chicken. There was a recording that he would play, right?
Yeah.
Cowards, there was a yellow line with the stenciled message, cowards, keep walking. And then you had to pass a nurse who is still in front of the whole theater would offer you a blood pressure test.
Right.
Right. So it was a big thing. And then after going through all of that, with everyone laughing at you, you had to sign a yellow card saying, I'm a bona fide coward.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's clever.
Well, and, it's the magic that made it also wonderful.
Yeah.
It's just another like element in it.
Well, one of the things, this is a kind of example of his one-upmanship with Hitchcock.
Right.
So, Homicidal. Did Homicidal come out before Psycho? I think. Let me look it up quick. No, Homicidal came out just after Psycho. But so one thing that Hitchcock had kind of done with Psycho was that he was sick and tired of people walking out of movies, right? People were still coming in and out. And so for Psycho, because there's that famous shower scene in Psycho.
Right.
Right. He made it so that if you did not make it on time to the movie, right? If you were so many minutes late, you could not then get in to see it. And so what Castle then did was like, interesting. So he kind of took it the other way, right? Instead of, well, you can't come in after a certain amount of time. It's, this movie is so fucking scary that I'm going to give you a chance to leave before the really messed up stuff happens.
Right. You have the 5-minute window.
Yeah.
Tick tock, tick tock. And after that, we shut the doors and lock them.
Well, it was a 45-second window. But anyway, Mr. Sardonicus had a fun one.
Yes. Mr. Sardonicus, 1961. This is one of the much talked about, somewhat controversial audience participation in judgment, where you could vote on the villain's fate in a punishment poll during the climax.
Mm-hmm.
Castle appeared in the movie. He appears on screen to explain the two options. And each member of the audience was given a card with a glow-in-the-dark thumb so they could hold it up or down to decide if Mr. Sardonicus should be cured or die.
Right.
Now, supposedly, nobody ever chose mercy.
Supposedly.
That we know of. So there's really no like evidence of an alternate ending ever having been seen.
Right.
Right.
And there's even some people who question whether an alternate ending was ever actually filmed.
Right. It is what it is.
Yeah.
In his autobiography, he did say that the merciful version was shot and shown occasionally. But again, everyone suspects otherwise.
They're like, when?
But that's part of the magic. It's like, you're not calling him a liar, like, you filthy liar.
Well, no.
It's just like, you're bullshitting, man.
Come on.
You had no intention of sparing that fucker. You just wanted to get everyone involved.
You knew no one wanted him to live.
And that's a free pass.
Yeah.
It's
fine.
It's awesome. Let's see. A note that in the drive-in version, drivers were asked to flash their car headlights to choose.
Mm-hmm.
Right. 1962, we had Zots.
So at this point in history, the theaters were kind of like, all these gimmicks are too much work for us. It needs to be toned down.
He put a lot of onus on them.
He did.
And
so Castle was kind of forced to tone them down a little bit.
Yeah.
So Zots, every patron was given a magic coin, which was just gold glow in the dark thing that tied in with the movie. That was it.
Yeah.
It's still something.
Yeah. 13 girls, or 13 frightened girls, 1963. He launched a publicized worldwide casting hunt for the prettiest girls from different countries. Filmed slightly different versions, highlighting each girl for a release in their country.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk a lot about that. We deal a lot with, I don't know about the international appeal of this. We don't want an international fucking appeal to this, right?
We just want to tell a story.
Well, yeah, not every good movie is generic enough to it could happen anywhere.
Right.
Right. We watch a lot of foreign films.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not because we can relate to them, just because they're good fucking movies.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, whatever. Anyway.
So then Street Jacket.
Yeah.
Which we also watched because I was like, we got to have some Joan Crawford up in here.
Yes, we do.
I love her. So this was 1964. And Castle at this point was explicitly told by his backers, stop doing gimmicks.
Yeah.
So he hired Joan Crawford to star and then sent her on a promotional tour to select theaters. So, I mean, that was kind of in lieu of it was publicity, marketing.
Yeah.
But he just couldn't help himself. When it went to theaters, he had a bunch of cardboard bloody axes that were printed and handed out to patrons at the theaters.
I love that.
Like at the last minute was like, oh, and also here's a bunch of axes.
I want to talk about Straight Jacket a little bit. Excellent movie.
Yeah.
And let's talk about Joan Crawford. At this point, she has already begun the sleigh ride downhill. Right.
Right.
Not
because she's not a good actress.
Bad choices.
Well,
prima donna.
I was going to say a lot of it was the prima donna kind of.
Yeah. Well, I don't mean like bad acting choices. I mean just bad life choices.
Yeah.
Right. She's, on husband 673 with the owner of Pepsi Cola, which is evident.
Oh, yeah.
In
I love
Straight
that.
Jacket. Because there's just fucking
product placement.
Pepsi Cola everywhere. Shock lock barrel center. Like, hey, whatever's going on here, they're having a Pepsi.
Nice cold Pepsi.
Or at least someone just had a Pepsi.
Right.
Right? It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Are you untwisting that thing again?
I am. I mean, I wish you wouldn't draw attention to it because I can do it quietly.
I want to because it's ridiculous because we have other water bottle containers that are so much easier to deal with.
So this is so funny. Just to break away for a second. I know this is a long episode. When we were doing the live kind of commentary on the watch party for Redwood Massacre.
Oh, yeah.
David had to take frequent bathroom breaks. And he would kind of announce it every time he did. And
got to pee again.
I'll be back. I'm going to go to the bathroom again. Or, because they were drinking and, it's just a fun thing. But he kept, making comments about, how like in your 40s, at one point, his wife, Lorraine, texted him because when you're watching the live party, so when you're in it, you can see everyone in it.
Yeah.
But when you're watching it on their like Facebook page, you can only see the person who's talking.
Right.
And so she texted him and she was like, you don't have to keep announcing that you're going to the bathroom. They can't see you if you're not talking.
Right.
And he was like, Lorraine just texted me this.
So he reads if I don't say anything about it, nobody would know. Oh, man. Okay.
So all I'm saying is you don't have to say anything about me opening this water bottle.
Well, it's too late. So going back to Straight Jacket. Joan Crawford did a great job. And Joan Crawford notably has done some bad jobs in films because she's had bad directors. And, a director is like an anchor on a Lego ship, right? It can bring the whole thing down.
Yeah.
If it's not done carefully. William Castle, I think, got an excellent performance out of her, and everybody else, because the actor who plays her daughter,
she's really good.
Almost every scene, face to face, and I tell you what, she has that shit hoisted like an Olympic powerlifter, and is just bam, pumping it up into the air. She held her own, and again, that's a good director. Because no matter what kind of talent you have, if you can't motivate them, if you can't work with them to help them deliver the best they can, you're going to have a shit movie with bad performances. Those two were really great.
Yes.
Let's see. Well, I don't want to dive into these, but there's also, I Saw What You Did, 1965, Bug, 1975. Which was the back end because
we had a callback to Macabre here.
Yeah.
With his little gimmick.
Yeah, the insurance policy thing. We need to mention Rosemary's Baby as he was the producer.
Mm-hmm.
And the long story short on that is he wanted to direct it.
Yeah.
He took everything to the studio with Paramount, but Paramount head Robert Evans at the time insisted on Roman Polanski
Right.
being the director. And, William Castle, being a businessman, knew the futility of why blow a deal that's not exactly what I want and then walk away with absolutely nothing at all.
And he actually, Rosemary's Baby was obviously very successful, and William Castle made a lot of money on Rosemary's Baby.
He did, but he was just a producer.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking, how much more different would that have been if Castle had directed it?
Yeah. I would be really interested to see a William Castle version of Rosemary's Baby because, hot take, I'm not a super big fan of the movie as it stands. I know that's not going to go down well with a lot of people because it's obviously a classic horror, work of art.
Yeah.
But I've seen it a couple of times and I just don't get it.
I don't put it on the high shelf that I do a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
And that other people do with this movie. It's all right.
That's fine.
I just, it's again, like people like Roman Polanski, not everything they touch is gold.
Yeah.
And not everything about this movie is, phenomenal for the genre and all this stuff. It fit a very commercial package.
Right.
And that's what the studio wanted, Rosemary's Baby, not long after that, William got sick, became very ill, and it just never kind of...
he did make a couple more things.
Yeah, but he never stepped over into the A movie section of things.
Right.
That most people would have. Only because his illness kept him out of the light. And that's the thing with Hollywood. When you're hot, you got to go now.
Right.
Right. But he got hot and then couldn't participate.
Because he was sick, yeah.
And then things moved on.
But, and he did... I remember in one of the interviews with Terry Ann Castle, where she said that, unfortunately her father died thinking that he wasn't successful in the way that he had hoped.
Right. And this is the kind of thing that makes you want to have a Wayback Machine.
It makes me want to cry.
I know.
Just because...
Jump in a TARDIS, go back, and there's more people like him to show him, or these other people, to be able to show them, look at what the fucking future is because of you, man. Look how many people are talking. Look what you've become.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have 10 mansions. You don't own your own big studio on, next to Universal. So the fuck what? You have some beautifully artistic films.
That are so good.
Some technically perfect films.
Mm-hmm.
Where most people can claim maybe one of those things in their career, and you're like, bam, bam,
gimmicks
bam.
aside, these films stand on their own. They're good.
Oh yeah,
they're not cheesy. It can't be, bullshit.
No,
they're really good.
It is. It's disheartening. But so many people do think that they haven't been successful. They pass on. But. It's cool though, like his daughter, right? She can see the love because there are podcasts out there, folks, that are specifically about William Castle. There are podcasts out there that deal with like shock vision kind of stuff and, talk about William Castle, the things that they did. There's a lot of fan sites. There's a lot of things, and she can see this.
There are people who, still own their original Spectro viewer.
Talk about like accidental nostalgia.
Right?
Right? Who would have ever thought at, like 10 years old, save my little cellophane thing?
Yeah.
And to be able to save it.
Mm-hmm.
How much shit have we lost?
Oh, gosh.
Moving
so many things.
So the things to take away. The reason we want to talk about William Castle is, like we said, he is a magnificent filmmaker.
Yeah.
He's also a PR genius, right? And I would encourage writers especially, think about that when you're writing. Are you engaging the audience? I don't mean are you catching their interest, right?
Right.
Are you getting their attention? Are you actually engaging the audience with your script? And
Are
that
you
doesn't
giving
mean
them the opportunity to like kind of be a part of your story.
right. And as a director, you don't have to do all this stuff that Castle did, right? To bring it. I think it would be cool. Maybe not, as cheesy because, a lot of movies are a little bit more like hard toned these days.
I would be super interested to see what kind of things he does with the stuff that's available today.
Oh, it would be hilarious, but that's just it. People trying to emulate it, I think it would be, if you don't have the original man to pull it off, just let it go. But so I'm saying, short of that, directors can do things to involve the audience. Think of that experience, right? What am I doing to make this static two-dimensional thing engage them like a stage play?
Right.
What am I going to do to make that kid in the audience act like 11 or 13-year-old William Castle and go, this is what I want to fucking do. I want to create this shit. Right.
Right. Or even that kid or, even the adult in the audience.
Yeah.
Go, in a couple years or whatever. I remember the first time I saw that movie.
Yes.
I remember, sitting in the second row from the back, direct center. I remember this exact moment. Like, what are you doing to make it an experience?
Yeah. Well, and it's a tall order.
I mean, it's not easy.
Well, nowadays, because like I said, we have these multiplexes. We have, the fucking phone heads who are a constant pain in the ass in every cinema in every city around this country. We have all the distractions of the cinema itself. We have sound way too loud. We have Dolby 86.3. More. Give me a fucking break. I'm an audiophile, right? And just like, we have 10K television. Fuck you, 10K television. All right? The human eye can only see to this range. Everything else is just bullshit.
Right.
Now I feel like Carl, because we watched Idiot Abroad. I'm thinking of Carl Pilkington, Mr. Captain Bullshit. Bullshit. That's bullshit you're saying.
Yeah.
Same thing with sound. All right. If you want, ask any sound engineer, right? I mean, if we ask Mike,
oh yeah,
because he was a sound engineer his whole life.
Inventor of lots of things that
patent
people
holder
still use today.
Yep.
Cool guy.
He's awesome. But here's the thing. 2 fucking speakers, stereo speakers. That's all you need. Someone with real talent will engineer sound. So sitting with those 2 speakers, you're like, oh, holy God. All right. When we had Dolby 3.1, then surround sound and, all this stuff, it distracts from the movie. So one of the things as a filmmaker, when you want to think of these engaging experiences, is step back from all this fucking technology shit. Theaters today, doesn't matter what they have. It's what the bare minimum they can produce.
Yeah.
If they can produce stereo sound, think of what you're making in that realm. All right. It doesn't need to be deafening. We don't need to have, because it's so loud and so poorly spaced, you can't actually make it out. Right.
Weirdly,
in a lot of these
movie theaters do not seem designed to be acoustically tuned.
I don't think they are. I think they like to think they are but it's a tune, for Atmos and whatever.
You have to actually build it that way.
Yeah. Again, another podcast. And people will probably argue, but you know what? Fuck it. This is my opinion. It's my podcast. And that's what I'm saying. I think sound is overrated with all these separations. I think it's better when it goes back to the basics. Because you got all that loud sound. Like I said, you got the people. Don't come and go as much as they used to and made them, all these guys mad. So you got a lot to overcome. But still think in terms of how am I engaging that person? Man or woman, boy or girl, child, adult. that they're going to walk out of here, you know, that was a visceral experience, you know. And it doesn't have to be buzzing seats or stink vision or, you know, smellorama.
Right. But I mean,
You know.
the point of those things was to make it an experience for the audience,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
And William Castle's movies, when you watch how they're directed, how he frames the shots, how he does all this. On TV, it's great. If we could see that on a big screen,
Oh my God.
it would be wonderful. And you can tell he put these movies together because he's thinking of the guy sitting in the 8th row, 3rd from center, right? How's this going to look to him?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's magical.
It really is. He's tragically underrated and underestimated as an artist,
Right.
filmmaker. I mean, if you go and you Google William Castle, what is going to come up is all of these gimmicks. The godfather of gimmicks, the budget Hitchcock, the whatever.
I know.
It's a bunch of bullshit. If you watch his movies, he was incredibly talented. And it's just, I mean, it infuriates me, but it's kind of too late to,
I know.
you know, really.
Well, so you mentioned Hitchcock, right?
Mhm.
And I'm gonna say the same thing like we did about Rosemary's Baby. Alfred Hitchcock was good, but he's not the fucking grand master. All right? There is a substantial portion of his stuff that is mediocre at best.
And derivative.
And here's the thing. Here's the interesting little tidbit that we found out about. Hitchcock, in order to compete with Castle, oftentimes used his own money because he couldn't go to the studios because they're like,
Right.
no, fuck you, Alfred.
We give you enough money.
Yeah, we're not doing this stupid thing. Right? So he would use his own fucking money and force the crew from his TV show to film
Right.
so that he could compete with Castle's movies coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Alfred Hitchcock got on the A-list. He got on the marquee, and that's why people say, oh, Castle's a budget Hitchcock. Castle's way better than Hitchcock.
I think so. Yeah.
And this is that whole thing we've always talked about, folks. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how hard you work at this. The reality is you may never fucking make it at all, or you may make it to what your perception of this ladder is well, you know,
I mean, of Hitchcock's
low end B
movies,
movie, you know.
of Hitchcock's movies, and there are a lot of them. There are like 2 or 3 that I genuinely enjoy watching, but I don't. I mean, we've been together
A long time.
almost a decade, and we've never really sat down and had a Hitchcock-thon because it's like, oh, you know what? It's been a really long time since we watched Psycho.
No. And here's the thing. Most people talk about Hitchcock movies that part in The Birds, that part in Vertigo. Parts,
But not the movies.
not the
as a
movie
whole.
itself. From beginning to end, it's a fucking mediocre work at best. But there's like an excellent bit here and there.
Yeah.
Right? But anyway, you can do everything right. Everything right. And you can still be denied your place on the marquee. That's this business. And that's where we've said a few times. And my favorite is was it Eric who his
Well, you got to tell me what you kind of.
well, his mentor said, best advice I can give is get out.
Oh, no. It was if you can stop, do.
Oh yeah, if you can stop doing this, then stop.
Yeah.
Do something else. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You've got to be in this because you have that love for creation, writing, directing, producing, whatever. You either want to be involved with it or you want to make it like physically.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't be a creator if you don't love other creators.
Yeah.
You have to love film to be in the film business. You have to. And we have talked to so many people and read so many articles about these fucking professionals in Hollywood who don't know basic movies. We've talked about how many times we've sent a script in with the comps and they're like, I don't know that one. How the fuck can you not know that one? This is a sci-fi fucking pilot. It's based on a very solid sci-fi premise that's been around since the fucking 30s. How can you not know the title of this film or show when everything was built off of it?
Right.
Right? That's like saying, oh, I've never heard of America. It's the country you live in, dick. These fucking people have jobs not because they actually know what's going on, because they lucked into it. And the formula they follow, they don't know the formula because you know what, folks? Every couple of years that shit changes.
There is no formula. There's no magic equation to make a perfect movie or a perfect script.
Right. I'm not going to name names, but we talked to a producer who was at a production company and then kind of vanished, and then found him a few years later. He was with another production company and then backtracked. Well, what's going on there before we reached out. And it's like, well, worked at like 5 other production companies.
Right.
We've talked to producers who have left production companies to start their own, or their own agencies, right? Agents and managers and stuff.
It's an ever-shifting floor.
Number 1, to do anything involved in filmmaking, love film.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Number 2, let your love for film guide you. Guide you in your writing, your direction, your composing. If you want to craft the world, a set builder, an engineer, an electrician, gaffer, anything, right? Love film.
Yeah.
So that when you're setting those lights, you understand the director also loves film, and you know how this is going to show up, even though it's digital and not, actual film. Because it's going to bring the best of you out. And it's going to show in your work, and your work with everything else is going to show up on screen. Bang, bang, boom. Magnificence.
There you go.
That's what William Castle did. It was a family environment. Everybody had the passion to get it done.
He let his love of film guide him.
Yep. And it worked.
Yeah. And if you've never seen any of his movies, you should watch some of them because, they're wonderful.
They are. There was a film where he was used as a model. You were just watching it.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So, the movie Matinee.
Yes.
So, John Goodman is playing a character who isn't William Castle, but he's obviously based on William Castle.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. It was made in 1993. It's on Tubi.
Yeah, that's where we're watching it now.
Right now. But it's a lot of fun. So, if you want to get a little bit, obviously it's fictional and it's loosely based on him, and there's also more to the story without giving too much away about it. But if you want to just kind of get a feel for like the excitement and the warmth and just the ingenuity that he has, I would recommend it.
Yeah, because it's not Castle. It's based. Castle influenced the development of this character.
Right.
But you get it's a fun twist on it.
It is. He had one last gimmick planned.
Oh yeah.
Before he passed away.
Yeah.
And we learned this in an interview with his daughter. This was fun. So he had been driving around southern France with his wife, and they passed by this house that looked kind of haunted. It just kind of had that look to it.
Yeah.
And he was like, I want to buy that house. And his wife was like, oh, really? So he bought the house the next day.
Yeah.
And he had a plan. His plan was to give the key to the house, give this house in southern France to someone as the kind of like gimmick that went with his next haunted house film.
Yeah.
But he never ended up getting to do that.
No.
So, that would have been cool.
That'd have been like the cherry
win a
on top.
haunted house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as we close out our retrospective here, and 2020, thank you, William Castle, for everything from the ridiculous PR and marketing that was magical and wonderful and memorable to these brilliant, fantastic, not just horror, but, his entire body of work is a masterclass of what you can do when A, you know what the hell you're doing because you learned the business, and B, you just simply love film.
Yeah.
Right.
He was a passionate guy. Absolutely knew what he was doing. He was a master innovator. I mean, there are a lot of things that we do in movies today that are because William Castle did them first.
Yeah. Exactly.
And even outside of film, a lot of things that are because William Castle did it.
Well, right. And we didn't get into all that. There's a lot of backroom business stuff that, but you learn it on your own, guys.
I mean, if you
but he did it. He learned it, and that's why he is who he was.
If you never knew who he was before you listened to this podcast episode, you should look into it, read up on him. There's a lot of material out there. There's documentaries, books, his autobiography, interviews with his daughter, all kinds of podcasts that talk about him. The internet's a big place.
It is.
You can find information.
Yeah.
And watch his movies because they're beautiful.
They are. So start 2021 embracing your love of film. That's what this podcast is about. If you're a novel writer and you're listening, then, your love of books and story, whatever. But to survive in the film business at any level, you have to love this medium. And that's why I also see Out of Print, the documentary. Like I said, it's wonderful, fun, nostalgia, but at the end, it's a very real and frank conversation on the very future of cinema and movie making in general, in terms of film, like actual celluloid versus digital, right? Watch it and, do it. Please refrain from being really stupid on New Year's Eve. Let's not start 2021 with the world's largest resurgent outbreak of COVID and all that crap. Be smart about it. And hey, what better way to spend New Year's Eve day and New Year's Day than staying up all night? Start out with this documentary, Out of Print, roll into a William Castle fucking film retrospective of your own.
Yeah.
Watch everything you can get your hands on. A lot of stuff is on iTunes. You can rent it. That's where we had to get a hold of a couple things.
You can find House on Haunted Hill pretty much anywhere.
Little FYI, this might change in the 2 weeks before this airs. But on Tubi, Macabre is in Spanish.
Weirdly.
And so we had to rent it. So we don't have the English version on that.
But Tubi has the Tingler.
It does have the Tingler. Rent, and this shit's not expensive, folks.
Right.
Rent these things because you're back paying this wonderful man's creativity and ambitions.
His daughter is making films. Producing films.
Yeah.
Black Castle Entertainment was specifically created to recreate William Castle's films. They've done 2 of them, and I think they're doing other stuff right now. But, his legacy is continuing.
Yeah, they did House on Haunted Hill and 13 Ghosts. Right. So that's William's daughter.
Yeah.
Right. Bringing his original films redone to the modern era back in the early 2000s.
And whether or not you think the remakes did, whatever about the originals, it doesn't matter. I've seen them both. I
think they're fine examples of the remakes are a completely different monster.
They're different.
Like we're talking about.
And
times
they're
are
not
different.
Family friendly.
No, but that's the thing. Times are different. Right? Horror films, we talk about, what's your favorite monster film? What's your first film? When we're doing the Facebook Live thing,
sure,
or the watch party, Alistair asked, what's, how old were you when you saw your first horror movie? I'm like, well, I was 8 when I snuck into my first movie at the theater. Night of the Living Dead, I was 5, 6 when I saw that on television. Before that, I was still watching Night Gallery and all the spooky, Hitchcock TV stuff. But yeah, I snuck into fucking Halloween. I went to go see some Disney fucking movie. Got my soda, walked into the other theater, And that's when I was introduced to Michael Myers, By Myself in the Dark, 8 years old.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, see these things. And when you watch that documentary, search out your own indie or independently owned theater in your area. Not a lot we can do now. If they have an online thing, try and support them. But when we get back to normal, go support them. Pay for the tickets. Go watch the movies in the theater. Be surrounded by your fellow cinephiles and love film as it was meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because, it's going to be a shame to lose that if we let it happen. But yeah, start 2021 with some great shit and then use that to propel you when we do this next episode of retrospectives for New Year's Eve week in 2021, because 2022 is around the corner. We hope you're listening as somebody who, sold their script, who got their shit done, or at least, or finished their script.
Yeah. Finally
got it done. Let's have some great success. Great success. We got some good shit coming up. 2021.
So, in the meantime, you can go check out our website. It is
www.lordsofmisruleproductions.com.
Ba-boom.
Ba-bam.
There you can find past episodes, all the links.
It's all there.
Stuff.
I think we're done talking about it. New listeners, just go to the link. It's all there. All right. Social media, Patreon, all the stuff. More importantly, the episodes, links to the platforms. You're out checking us out on social media. Check out people following us and check out the people we follow. Filmmakers, fellow creatives, a lot of good folks, other podcasters. Check them out as well. Do what you can to keep not just indie films alive, but B movies, because B movies now are started with independent production companies.
Yes.
That have loose ties with a distributor who works for a studio kind of thing.
Yes.
That's where a lot of our B movies are coming from, because the studios they can't afford to make a bunch of B movies anymore with these tent poles that fail as often as they do. So
yeah,
watch some stuff.
Yeah, and if you need to, find your tribe, your filmmaking tribe, good place to go is stage32.com, stage32.com.
Yep.
It's a great website. You can do a bunch of stuff. Don't take our word for it. Just go check it out.
Yeah, it's free. It doesn't cost you to mingle and talk with people.
Yeah.
And it's everyone else is out there. It's like, I don't know, one day I want to be famous and successful. So there's your tribe.
Yeah, there's your tribe. Or reach out to us. You can find our email address on our website and shoot us an email if you've made something, if you want us to watch something, yada, yada, yada.
Yep, you can email us related to the podcast or just in general.
Yeah.
We've got 2 different addresses there. All right.
I think that'll about do it.
I could
talk about William Castle for
We
years.
probably will after we stop recording this. I would hope that you are all going to continue listening in 2021. Like I said, we got some stuff coming. Yeah. We're excited. And, in the long picture, who the fuck knows?
I know.
But we're here to talk about it and share it. And hopefully we'll share it with you at some point, listener.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, this is Bravo for the B-side. I'm Jim.
And I'm Danny.
Happy New Year. And
we'll catch you next week.
Yep. Bye.